and determine who she is selling to and what problem she's going to solve.
These three things need to be defined or we cannot move forward. It's project planning. So I ask myself, who are you selling to? Who are you serving? And what problem are you solving? So the first question and topic is there an undefined target market? The second thing, is there an unclear value proposition? And the third one is there an ineffective marketing strategy? Look at all three. They need to be answered so we can move forward.
Narrowed it down to the mom who still has her career and you want to follow your career, right? Like that's okay. And balancing everything between becoming a belt designer, your career, and you have kids. You have two kids, right?
Yes, two girls. Yeah.
Yeah, the kids, the family, like balancing all that. And then it was so natural to immediately go back and look at the almost the umbrella of that and say, oh, well, I want to help anyone that's busy, right? But I want to get you focused into exactly, you nailed it right there. Like that's your niche market, right? Those are your hashtags. That's what you're going to talk about in stories. That's who you're going to help. Those are the little courses you can create, whatever it is. So let's focus on that niche market because then it will expand, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you always start with a niche and then other people can join in. Oh, you help busy women. You help busy moms.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's don't be afraid to almost narrow yourself even more because I know it happens all the time. I think that is prime. Like you're helping like entrepreneur moms. Like, you know, your title is almost don't quit your day job, right? Don't quit your
Right.
and moms are hustlers. So show us how that can happen. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm already like pursuing my career. I'm pursuing my business, whether I'm working for myself or I'm working for someone else. And so maybe what if we set it up in milestones? Like, okay, what are the milestones of a woman's life? One of the things that's amazing, it's totally secret behind the scenes, so you're only going to get an email, but the luxury customer. And I broke it down into these 3 or 4 different women. And so you could do the exact same thing. You're going to help 3 or 4 different women and name them, you know, maybe the first one is it's Brianna, right? And her name is Brianna and this is her life, right? And she's recently married and she doesn't have kids, but in the back of her mind, she's freaking about having kids because she loves her career.
Yeah.
I have chills right now. That's amazing. You know? And so, okay, so now you go to the next one. Does she have 1 child, right? But she loves her career. She has 2. And then maybe they're done at 2 or maybe they want 3, right? Like,
yeah.
From there, you think of the different perspectives. How do you feel about that?
Nice.
What do you think?
I love that. And yeah, I always that's like the whole target audience thing, even as a marketer, freaks me out, right? Because to what you said, those are, we could, you know, technically there could be, say, 3 or 4 different personas.
Yeah.
Because I even have friends who don't have kids. I have one of my friends who she and her husband don't want kids.
Yeah.
But I would see her still being a customer of mine, even though she doesn't have kids. She does have a dog. So to me, that's her, you know, she doesn't have a kid, but then she spends a lot of time caring for the dog. So that's, you know, that's another sort of persona, if you will. Then you have someone like you who's recently married, no kids. And then you have the folks who do have kids.
Right.
And then I always wonder, like, how much more do you need to break that down? Because then technically you could have those who have young kids like I do, or you could have, because I have friends who literally are getting ready to send their kids off to college next year.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like,
I think I want to get you as focused as possible, you know, so you're going to be able to say, just for the example, obviously you can rename me, but you know, this first girl is Brianna, and then exactly write down like, what are my concerns? What are my worries? Because this can create blog posts for you. It can create videos, topics for you. It can create the perfect belt for me, right? Maybe that changed whatever. So there's that person. And I think let's get super, super narrow because the thing is, you can always expand later, right? So I tell people you can always expand. And so we make these 3 personas, maybe 4, but let's say 3 for now. And then you're like, Brianna, I hate it. It was terrible advice. Like, I'm just going to go and help everyone again. Like, great. But at least, you know, then we've actually narrowed it down. So sometimes I'll tell people that when we do like one-on-one group, we'll do classes or like private classes, masterminds, right? Like just for today, let's go through the process. Let's do everything. And if you hate it, you walk away. you know, like you just go back to whatever you're doing yesterday, and then you see like, but clearly you're going to grow. Like that's the irony of it. And you'll see my sarcasm as we go through this together.
I love it.
So helping, let's narrow down. And I think the 3 people, so something you mentioned on your friend that doesn't want kids and they have a dog, immediately I wanted to ask you, do you have a dog?
No. So no pets.
Okay. So
my girls, they want pets, but I'm like, no, because then that'll be another kid that I have to take care of. So no.
Right? Like cross that bridge with me, like for the mom. I mean, if I were to decide for you right now of who your 3 people are, 1 in my position, 2 with 1 kid, or maybe like early stage 1 kid. And then number 3 person is with 2 kids, and stop there because it's Tokes takes on style. Like, what's your umbrella of your life? Do what you know best. Let's get down to who those are. And they're women, and you're going to be a belt designer. So then we're going to talk about their body shapes, you know, what are their body shapes? And now what's going to be my body shape as I become a mom? Because I look great on my wedding day. And 4 months later, I was 18 pounds heavier. And my husband was the same. Like, we packed that on, you know?
Because that's what happens when you're young, when you get married.
And it's true. And like, what happened to my mind, I think, you know, and it's bad to say, but it's just being real of, I think it's like, okay, we're married now. We can, not only is it like, you're safe, right? And that's the biggest, that's true. If you look at the triangle of what everyone wants in life, like the top thing is we just want safety, right? That's why we have a roof over our head, okay? So we are safe. And so in a marriage, okay, like now I can calm down, right?
Yeah.
Each one of these girls, what is her biggest fear right now? This is awesome. We just hashed out a lot.
We sure did. I love it.
Yeah. So we're definitely getting ahead of the game, but it was good that you acknowledge one of your concerns, because people go through stages, and it's so funny, even in fashion, and same with your blogging, right? And your three bubbles, your 3 people that you help. You either know in your subconscious or conscious, you've already thought of problems, right? That you're going to hit down the road of producing fashion. We've talked about this with your belts. Your manufacturer, are they too expensive? Are they cheap? Are they going to rip you off? What is the quality?
Yeah.
Are they late? Like, I could tell you all these concerns.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a problem anymore. And we reverse all the way back to being a concern. We've come to a solution, and we're going to cross the bridge together. You know? So help me cross. It's like, so girl 1, 2, 3, and then there's this little bridge. So you're helping me. I think an extra addition to what you offer is you're helping me cross this bridge. Cool. I'm going to be with Tokes here, and then I'm going to be with Tokes here again. Like, okay. I think those are they're bubbles outside of your goal, you know. And I don't want to shut down your friend, but at the same time, stay focused with what you know best, really. Right. So that, like, if I'm imagining, if we have your map of your 3 bubbles, and then we have extra maps, she's kind of like floating out here, you know, like you can help her, and hopefully she still wants help with these things. You may encourage her, like, oh, it's okay to have kids, because maybe deep down it's a huge fear that she doesn't want to lose her career, her job, the income, you know, all of those things. Yeah. And so how do we calm down that fear without an answer of, you know what, let's just cancel one of these options, right? Like, mark something off the calendar. So you could help people a lot deeper down than you even realize, I think. What are some feedback thoughts of what I just talked to you about, your like 3 ideal clients? What's your biggest takeaway on all the notes that you just took?
I think for me, the biggest thing is thinking more about those 3 ideal clients. Because again, like, it's what I struggle with for myself as my blog. And I feel like 2020 is the first time really that I've tried to be more deliberate with even my Instagram post about who I'm speaking to. I could be looking at it from a milestone, you know, a life stage perspective. Yeah. And it's, you know, like you said, someone who's just married, doesn't have kids. Then there's someone who's pretty much like me, who has 2 kids. And then there's another one who just has 1 kid and maybe thinking about 2, you know, having another child or whatever. So I think that's the biggest aha moment today is, oh, wow, like there are 3 ladies. And I can sort of blow out sort of, you know, where they are in life. So that's cool.
And I think I'm glad that you already have experience with thinking of creative ideas, because that gives us so many creative ideas, right? To talk to them directly. Like when you do that, I want you to be thinking, you're making a video right now, right? And you're in your mind, you're literally talking to Rachel and only Rachel. And then there's another video and you're only talking to Brianna. So then it's going to clarify what you're saying. Because I think the biggest thing that I want you to take away in this is it's okay to not help everybody. I know it's terrible, right? And bring that in. And that only happens if they're in phase 2 or 3. Things that happen when they have 1 kid versus 2. Because then you can interview people like with 1 kid. You can interview people with 2 kids, right? And I'm going to be watching 2 and 3, and they're going to be watching 1 and 0 to be like, oh, those precious moments. That lady thought she had a time in the world. Like, silly her. So I think you're helping me know my future, and you're helping them remind them of their beautiful past. Because, remember the times when, like, appreciate it. Because remember, right, like when you get in the grind of things, we can so quickly lose the appreciation. So remind number 3 when she was number 1. It's like, okay, it's okay forever. So
yes, my closet is a mess. And usually I am figuring it out literally the day before I have my photo shoot. I will have an idea in my head of the pieces or the clothes that I'm going to wear in the shoot, and then usually the day before is when I will then start pulling things together. And sometimes, again, it just is in my head because I'm like, okay, I know I want to do polka dots or whatever, floral, since this is going to be a shoot that's getting ready for spring, since spring starts next week. So I know that the pieces are going to be tied to spring and spring trends. And I know there's florals, there are neutrals, whites, brights. So I'll just sit down and then just start like I'm doing here. I'm like, okay, florals, I want something pink with pink in it, polka dots, and then I'll start thinking, oh, what can I pair with jeans or a skirt, so I can switch it up and show how you can rock it for work or for night. So for day and night. And then I knew I wanted something casual. One of my friends had sent me, she sells LuLaRoe clothes. So she has sent me some pieces and I'm like, okay, I want to feature that as well. So I'm like, okay, so there's that, showing sort of a nice casual on the go outfit. And then neutrals, I'm like, okay, there's this dress. Ooh, that got stuck. So yeah, so I'll just start laying them out, and then I'll think about what to pair it with, and then I'll put shoes. Like I have a bunch of shoes on the floor here where I'm like, okay, do I want to do flats? Do I want to switch out the shoes? So I show something with, heels and then with flats, just to show how you can switch it out based on whether or not you're wearing it to work or wearing it for a date night or running errands or what have you. So that is my process when I'm prepping for a photo shoot. And yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. That's why sometimes my husband thinks I'm crazy, because there is so much that goes into it for just a couple of pictures. The life of a vlogger. But yeah, that's part of the process, I guess. And I enjoy it. So you can't have the beautiful finished photo if you don't go through all of this. And everyone's process is different. So I'm sure there are folks out there who may not be as messy as I get and don't have clothes all over the place like I was showing you, but that's my process. And yeah, that's what I do the night before a photo shoot. And then I will wake up super early tomorrow for the shoot, because we usually my photographer and we try to meet at 7:30, so that way we can get it done before places start getting crowded and people start going about their daily business on a Saturday morning. So that's the process, and that's how it all happens. So I will show you hopefully some scenes at the actual shoot as well. So stay tuned. Okay.
She did it. Tokes defined her target market. She defined her value proposition. She even defined the marketing strategy. She knows who she's selling to. She knows who she's not selling to. And she knows what problems she's solving. And she knows what problems she's not solving. She is focused, she is on board, and she knows how to stay in the game.
Hi, my name is Amon from Rwanda, and I'm going to be talking about sharing some memories about Tokumbo Fawarimi, popularly known as Tokes. Tokes is a childhood friend of mine. We grew up together in Ife. She has always been like a sister to me, and we were neighbors. And this tiny little hedge of plants kind of separated our backyards, and we were always in each other's houses. Tokumbo as a child was very, very fun. She was a fun, loving girl, very witty, very, we had a lot of good memories together. We would play house. We would play with dolls. We played dress up. We were up to a lot of mischief as children, but good mischief. She was very artsy as a child. I remember she used to love to draw. She used to love to color, and she used to love to write. She would write stories, and I remember this because she had a very unique handwriting up until now, actually. Tokumbo is very, very funny. She's fun to be with. There's never any dull moment with her. I remember when we were growing up, she would coin terms, come up with names and terms for different situations and different scenarios. Something would happen and she would give it a name, and that name would stick. She could look at an individual and just come up with a name, and the name would stick. And it was always so much fun, and it was something that we always laughed at. Tokumbo never shied away from good competition as well. I remember growing up as kids, we had older siblings, and anytime she would come play at my place, my older siblings would, put us on these two tiny little poofs we had in my living room and get us to have a dance off. And she always won the dance competition. She was such a good dancer back then, and she is still such a good dancer up until now. She can throw down on the dance floor any day, anytime. And she's never shy doing it either. She enjoys to dance, she loves to dance, and she's good at it. Tokes has always been a fashionista. Trust me, even all the way back then, she was very fashionable. Her dad, anytime he lived out of the country, anytime he came home, would buy her all this nice fancy stuff. And of course, I was privy to that too, because as her very good friend, anytime she got one, her dad also got me one. She had the cutest clothes. She knew how to combine, outfits, and she always looked good even as a child. Up until now, she's still very fashionable. She is very fashion forward, very cutting edge when it comes to fashion, and she looks beautiful working with fashion all the time. Tokes was also very much into singing when she was younger. We used to be members of a club called Happiness Club, and it was a singing club, and she did some acting as well. She was very sociable, and she was very involved in community, our little community, different activities in our little community. As an adult, I want to say Tokumbo has grown up to be a very loving, very responsible woman. She is very much into family. Recently, her dad passed, and I went to visit, and I was just amazed at how she has raised her two daughters to be so independent, so loving, so respectful, and just very well-rounded, beautiful girls. She loves her family. She loves her friends, and she loves with all her heart too. When she loves very hard. She is a hardworking lady as well. She juggles family and life together so beautifully. Many a times she has to stay home because she has a traveling husband who works out of the country, and I'm just amazed at how well she's able to hold the fort when he's away. I marvel at it, and she's taught me a lot in that regard. I forgot to mention as well that she makes the best jollof rice ever. She is so good at making jollof rice. Her jollof rice is one of a kind. She's a good cook. I look forward to visiting her because she, just entertains and makes you feel very comfortable. And I love to eat, and she always has good food in her house. There's a lot to say about Tokes, and I think I'm talking too much, so I think I've pretty much mentioned a good amount, very good, very unique qualities of Tokumbo. And that's it. Again, this is Mo, Tokumbo's childhood friend. Ride or die, Little Mo and Big Toe. Peace out.